Hey guys, this is Eric.
It's Tim.
Glenda?
And we are D&E Miniature and Board Games. So, we got done finishing playing a few rounds of Doom. And, as usual, and as requested, we've decided to sit down and do a review of it to tell you guys what we think of it. As you guys know, those of you who watched our reviews, we have a score of 1 to 5. 3 being average. Nothing good, nothing bad, just average. 5 is outstanding, and 1 is just horrid. We score on 5 things: graphics and artwork, rulebook, component, replayability, and overall fun. Graphics and artwork, we always allow Tim to go first because that's his big point. That's what he looks for in a game to see. That's his first impression. Tim.
Gotta say, I was mildly disappointed. The graphics and artwork, with there being such limited resources for the Doom graphics and artwork. Fantasy Flight obviously had a lot of trouble getting screenshots from the game and things like that. So I had to give it a 4 because, man, everything they got was great.
I was gonna say,
I'm like going,
what the heck?
And it does remind you, those of us that have played the computer game, can play the video game. They took screenshots from every version of it that I've seen. Probably even other stuff that was published under the Doom moniker. They did a really good job. I don't know what would get a 5 from me for graphics and artwork. So honestly, for me, a 4 is probably a 5 for most games. If they get a 4, so this one's solid right up there. Everything was great. It was really nice.
well, for me, I played the original Doom. I played several of the other, the original video game. Unfortunately, watched the movie several times.
His favorite.
I hate the movie. What are you talking about?
I actually wrote a freaking review of that movie while I was in college.
Well, congratulations for you. Can I continue with my kudos? I have to say, I gave the thing a 5. I thought that, I go along with what you were saying, that they were able to pull quite a bit from the material they had. But, I also look at the game board as well, and the tokens, the cards. I had to give it a 5. I was very impressed with the artwork. I was very impressed with how the cards looked. I was a 5. Glenda?
Okay, so I gave it a 5. As opposed to them who play the games, the video games and all that, I'm on the other perspective. I have never seen or played a game. And I gave it a 5 because everything stands out. It's, it's like probably, that's why I enjoyed it. Because, how when you're playing it and you have all these graphics and it just stands out and it just tells you what to do, and I like it. It's 5 for me.
Tim, does it surprise you Glenda's never played the video game?
Yeah, I have never played that.
No.
See, there you go. It's
All
a
right.
5, so encouraging.
I am going to take Rulebook. For anybody that's watched my reviews or my comments about Fantasy Flight Rulebooks, you know that I think they're horrible. It's the one thing usually in their games they really need to work on, and once again I have to go with the fact that Holy crap, Fantasy Flight, you knocked it out of the park. I gave this rulebook a 4. This was one of the best Fantasy Flight rulebooks I have seen ever. I was able to look at the first rulebook and through the second one, and we were able to play this within a half hour, and we looked a few times for things, but we found them quick. Guys, Fantasy Flight, you guys did it this time. This was one of the best rulebooks you guys have ever put out.
Find your own shtick.
I had to roll with yours, man. What do you got?
I gave it a 4. You know, I'm a rulebook hater, but I was able to. The rulebook goes through every phase. That's how freaking rulebooks are supposed to do. You know, rulebook's not supposed to start you out with A and then tell you to flip to page 37.
They have some here
B.
too, but
I mean, it goes from point A to point B. You follow it straight through. It's all right there, black and white.
I didn't even have to watch a tutorial this time online to figure this out. And usually with Fantasy Flight, I have to watch it online to see how to figure out how to play it.
So it was a straight up 4 for me.
Glenda?
oh wow, I'm so generous. I must really like this game. I gave it a 5. Rolling with what you said, and you always have a problem with a rule book. I read it
For Fantasy Flight.
For fantasy, yeah. And this one, again, my favorite is it's like a kindergarten thing, you know? You have your color, you have your instruction, you have your legend. For me, that's perfect.
Murdering by numbers.
So I gave it a 5. So I, just like me, a newbie, that is encouraging. So I gave it a 5. Kudos.
For anyone who has watched the unboxing that we did last night, I already said what my score was on components, and this bad boy says it all.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Components on this game is a 5. Detail, great.
Do we all
Overall
have concessions on that?
figure, great. The board's good card stock, good thick. The board the board itself,
Good thick.
Good thing
thick.
is-
The die cut.
Slut.
Tim and I were popping these things out, and it took us a matter of minutes to pop everything out, and nothing tore.
Yeah,
the die cuts were perfect on the counters,
And clean.
Yeah, no bad edges.
which is what the die cut being perfect means. Thank you, Glenda.
See, it's clean.
Did you guys feel about the same?
Yeah, I had a 5. I have a
5?
5.
Do you have anything?
I'm actually there's not many models that I would look forward to painting.
Then
But-
this one, huh?
Yeah, these the quality on these
Detailed.
is really good.
Well, you know, I said last night when Glenda and I were unboxing this
It's just
that I wish I would have had the time today. I would have actually sat down and painted some of these.
But you have to work your big boy
work.
job,
Yeah.
like
Big
we
boy
all
job.
do. FYI.
Replayability. I put replayability at a 5. The reason I put it at a 5, I know you can go. Now this is one thing I haven't read in the rulebook yet. This is what I've seen and heard. You can either go on the scenario base that's in the thing, or there's a campaign that you can run. You can play the demons. You can play the marines. You never know what you're going to get in your event decks. You don't know, depending on what scenario and what have you, you don't know what cards you're going to get in those event decks that you're going to get.
It can either be really great or it can kick you in the cooch.
I know the further on you get, the more different cards you get to help your characters on, because obviously playing the first couple scenarios, what you've got is not going to kill this thing at all. But, you know, replayability, I was a solid 5.
Right, you're supposed to be next. I gave it a 4. I can see it's you can have so many different scenarios like you said, but I can see the you know what do you call that, the end of it, like the limit of it. The cards, I can see it. So for me, it's not a perfect 5.
So you
on
see there's a
replayability.
potential to actually get bored.
Exactly.
replaying the
I
game.
can see it. I enjoy the game. I like everything about it. But I can see, especially me, I can see that it will come to a point that like, it's going to be the same scenario. It's going to roll this. And that's just me. But it's still high. It's a 4.
Surprisingly enough, though, I see expansions in the future with this. If it
You see
takes
money
off,
in that.
if it takes off well enough, they could do different map packs
They can.
and new
They
scenario
can.
books and stuff
But
like
as
that.
far as this the game itself.
There's not much they would need to add.
But new books of scenarios, which they could just do as downloads off their website.
To add this thing to this to make it any better. So
What'd you have for replayability?
I had 5.
You had 5?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much what I was saying. Overall fun. 5?
Hated it.
5?
5.
5. 5 for overall fun. We actually enjoyed playing this, and I think one of the main reasons was because the rule book was so thorough that we weren't flipping constantly.
Yeah,
we were able to just play the game and have fun.
It took
Yeah, that's right. It took away from
the process of
confusion.
learning the game as you're going through the rule book. When you can go through the rule book while you're doing a scenario and knock it out as quickly as we did. I mean,
not have to keep flipping around the rule
Jesus,
book.
there
and
are
find
games,
out what's that, what's this, what do you do after that.
There are games that we've done that with that have lasted for
Yeah.
hours. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, these guys did a real bang up job on.
Is it to the point that you made the creator of the game because you don't know what to do
Yeah.
next?
It's kind of like when you sit there and you say, "Hey, we got to do Battle of Westeros."
Until now, you haven't done that. Play.
We played it several times.
No,
Sorry, whoever requested it, but they
It'll never
couldn't.
happen.
It's just
That
like-
game is horrible.
you better grow it.
But Final Fantasy, you guys knocked it out of the park with this one. I gotta give you a double thumbs up on it
Yes.
because everyone knows I am a Fantasy
Critic.
Flight hater because of the
I
rule
don't think
books.
you're a hater, but
The
it's just
game
rule book.
once we get through trudge through the rule books, the games are usually really
Yeah,
good.
the
It's
games are
Yeah,
normally
they're
fun.
games.
this
Sure,
one,
it's
we
just-
didn't have to trudge. We actually were able to enjoy it the first time we played it. We gave a total. When we add it all together, and this ranks as one of our highest scores.
It's one of the highest we've given out in a while. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
4.7. We gave a 4.7 to Doom out of 5.
It's all like it.
We did. Honestly, last night, like I said, I had already given
Yeah,
a 5 on
I already
components
know that
when we were doing the
last night.
unboxing. It was when we were pulling these miniatures out and looking at them. And if you haven't looked at the unboxing, please go ahead and look at it. We've got around 10 minutes. There are 360s of all the miniatures that are in this game.
Hey, do you think they listened to the reviews about the rulebook? Because this time they really
I
did
seriously doubt
really good.
That it was our review.
Well, I mean, people's reviews.
But if it was Fantasy
Fantasy Flight. I know it's you get it mixed up with that freaking
Final
video
Fantasy
game.
is a different game.
we're doing a video game. We're doing a video. It's about a
It just
game.
mixes in.
So they really did.
If they
really
did
good.
if they did up their work on that because of us, thanks.
That's really good.
But anyways, guys, 4.7. Hey, remember, support your local gaming. We game where?
Discover Games, which is where we purchased this sweet ass game.
Thanks, Troy, for talking us into it.
4.7.
Troy
4.7. Discover
says
Games.
thank you too.
Hey, across from Pavilion, next to Harbor Freight,
It's just
Fayetteville, Georgia.
brutal.
As always, guys, game on.
Game on, folks.
Game on.
Todo aquello que hubo entre nosotros, ya los dedos de tus manos no se